Hi, I'm Scott, and today we have episode 2 of Synth Stuff. We are featuring the most simplest to the most complex synthesizers I own. Number 2, the Korg NTS-1, coming up next. The Korg NTS-1 is a tiny monophonic virtual analog synthesizer. It's about the size of a deck of cards. You can buy it for about $100. You do have to build it yourself. It comes as a kit. You have to build it yourself. It takes about an hour to do. They supply everything you need. There's no soldering. It's basically just snap and connect things together. It's actually kind of fun. But what you get is far more than what you would think. It's not just a simple little virtual analog monophonic synth. It's a single oscillator synthesizer, but that single oscillator is flexible. Triangle, sawtooth, square, of course those are there, but you can actually upload custom oscillators into it. Not just waveforms, but actual code that generate oscillators. And you can download those from the internet. And some of those are free. People actually out there are creating algorithms that define the operation of these oscillators to have new and unique sounds. You can even get an FM oscillator for this thing and just download it and put it right in there. It's the same architecture used for the Prolog and the Minilog, and a lot of the Prolog and Minilog oscillators that are out there will actually run on the NTS-1. It has modulation, delay, and reverb, and all three of those also you can install from the internet. So you can go and find all kinds of delays, reverbs, different mods that people have written for all the various different Korg synthesizers that share this architecture, and you can download them into this thing. Not only that, it has an analog input, so you can use the NTS-1 to use its very flexible and capable effects on external sources. That turns it into an amazing effects box. So let's have a look at it. So here's the Korg NTS-1. Like I said, it's a very small synth, about the size of a deck of cards. Has a rudimentary keyboard on the front of it. It's not really usable except for just testing. However, you can plug MIDI into it, either over USB or the dedicated MIDI line like I have here, using a special MIDI adapter cable. It's a Type A, in case you're wondering. 5-pin DIN to 3.5mm MIDI connector that looks like that. So you can play, if that's all you want to do, it's fine for doing exactly that. It does have an arpeggiator in it. If you push the arpeggiator down and hold a key, you get an octave arpeggiated. If you push and hold down, it will latch the arpeggiator on. That's nice for testing out the different waveforms. So we'll start with the oscillator. As you can see, it's starting with sawtooth, which is what you heard. Triangle. And each of these oscillators has two modifiers. So this one is modifying the shape, and this one is alternate. So if we listen, we can hear what it's doing. If we move to triangle, square, obviously that's pulse width modulation there. UPN, which is kind of a FM. Waves is a oscillator that changes through different waveforms as you sweep through the control. So you hear it starts with a sine. We move into more of a triangle. FNORD. Now, not all oscillators will work on the NTS-1. For instance, this FNORD one that I downloaded is obviously meant for a more complex synthesizer like the Minilog or somewhat, and it warns you when you install it that some of them might not work, and this is one of those that doesn't work. It makes a sound, but that's all it does. So these are just some more of the oscillators I've downloaded. Oh, this one's supposed to be emulating a TB303 bass synthesizer. Here it has that portamento and a little bit of fuzz. 3-operator FM. Or is that a sawtooth? I don't remember. Anyway, so there's all kinds of different oscillators that you can download and put into here. Next we have the filter. We have a number of different filters. We got a low pass. We can adjust the resonance. Two-octave, 4-octave, band pass, high pass, or you just turn it off altogether. Envelope generator, standard ADSR envelope generator. Now we get into the fun stuff, the mods. So it defaults to off, we'll switch on to chorus, and the chorus in this is very good. Ensemble, a phaser. Let's bring some more, open the filter there. Get some more harmonic material in there to work with. Flanger. And one that I downloaded, a distortion mod. Let's leave it on the chorus. I really like the chorus on this. Delays, we have a stereo. Let's shorten up that ADSR. There we go. We have a mono delay, ping pong. A high pass, a tape delay, and then this is a reverse delay that I installed off the internet. And then a stutter delay. And it seems to be doing nothing. I thought I actually had that one working before. Oh, there we go. So let's leave the ping pong on. That's my favorite. So it's the delay, we usually have time and depth. And then the reverb. The reverbs in this thing are fantastic. Hall reverb, time, and depth. Plate reverb, space. That's nice. A riser. What is this one? Sub. I don't even remember what that is. Another one I've downloaded. Sniffer. High pass reverb. So let's go with the space. So that's fantastic, but that's just the beginning of it. Of course, I can run MIDI into this thing from my DAW or from another keyboard, so if I wanted to play this thing, I wouldn't obviously be using this. I'd be playing it from one of my other keyboards. Now here's the best part. I can take any of these keyboards here, I've got them routed all through my main mixer, and I've dedicated send bus to the NTS input. So I can actually bring that send up, and then by selecting, this is group 3 and 4, so as long as I have group 3 and 4 set up for any of these synths, whenever I play something on here, it actually routes the output from this as a send to the NTS-1, and then from the NTS-1 back to here, and then from there into the monitors. And so this is what the result is. So if I turn that send off, you'll hear a dry signal. Same thing over here. Actually, we got some effects on there, so let's turn all these off. Now let's turn the send on and listen to the difference as we route all that through the effects on the NTS-1. And now all that reverb is coming from that tiny little box. Pardon the brief interruption. I'm sitting here editing this video and I'm thinking there is so much more to this thing that I didn't include, and I really kind of need to mention it. I didn't want to go over every single little feature of this thing because otherwise this video is going to be an hour long, but I really need to speak to some of the things I left out. The fact that there's a sync jack on the back, you can plug it into your modular system. The arpeggiator, I mentioned that it plays an octave, but it's far more flexible than that. You can adjust the chord, if major, minor. You can change the number of steps. You can change the time. You can change how it syncs. The mod matrix, you can set it up so that the analog input is processed only through some of the effects, or all of the effects, or none of the effects. Or there's LFOs. There's filter sweep curves. I mean, there's so much stuff in here that it can actually do, and it can actually change just by shift functions, pushing this and holding it down, or pushing that button and holding it down. So I really did want to mention that this stuff does exist in here, but I didn't cover it in this video simply because, like I said, nobody would watch an hour-long video showing every tiny little function of this device. But it's there. If you want to download the manual, you can find out a lot about it. And I'm sure there's other people on YouTube that have spent hours showing every tiny little feature of this thing. Anyway, back to the video. And that's it. That's the Korg NTS-1, a simple little synthesizer, but with incredible capabilities. And for a price point, that's just a no-brainer. For $100, why wouldn't you buy one of these things? They're very capable. The quality of the effects, especially the reverbs, is incredible. And you can get so much for free or almost next to nothing on the internet and just download it and install it. The one caveat is the Korg software, which I hate to say it, as usual, the Korg software is just its weak point. The Achilles heel of Korg products is the software. I have no problem running the software on a laptop with not much on it, but on my DAW workstation where I have tons of MIDI devices already, it's non-starter. It will not work. I'd have to install all of my MIDI devices and then install the Korg driver first, because if it's not one of the first 10 devices, the Korg software simply doesn't recognize it, which is just a boneheaded thing. Korg, get your act together. Anyway, the unit itself is great. It's a fantastic little effects box. You can see how I have it set up to use as a simple send effects on my mixer bus. Get one. I hope you like what you saw here today. Please don't forget to click subscribe and click that like button down below, and also click that little bell, because then you get notifications when we post a new video, and it really helps us out a lot. Please leave your comments about what you think, what you like, what you didn't like, any mistakes I made, anything you like. I love to hear it. Thanks for watching.